Happy Friday, folks. Welcome back to the random video blog where every single Friday I, Graham GSM Matthews, run down all my rambling thoughts on the wrestling world, share a few stories, etc., etc. Every once in a while here on the channel, it seems like it's now a monthly feature of the random video blog. I do book reviews. I don't know, just this year I've read a lot of books, like more books this year than I have in the last 5 years combined, which is incredible. Maybe it's more time, but it's not even that. Like, I still have the same amount of time I did a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't know. I just have more motivation to read, which is great. But before I get started, if you want to check out my other book reviews from the past 6 or 7 months, from the start of 2017, I've since reviewed the Ryback self-help book, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time. I talked about that, I believe, back in early March. I reviewed AJ Lee's book back in early May, the audiobook version, but it's still essentially the same thing. I just listened to it as opposed to read it. I reviewed those two books. The NXT book that came out earlier this year, I got that as a gift from my girlfriend for graduation. That was a really cool book. And also Austin Aries' book, I talked about that earlier this month as well, or I think in late July, I want to say, or in early August. It was a great book. Definitely check that out when you get the chance as well. But today, we are talking about the WWE Book of Rules. So I got this as a gift. A lot of these books I get as a gift. But I got this as a gift from my uncle, I believe, for my birthday a couple of months ago. And I'd heard a lot about it. I remember Daniel Bryan joking about it on Talking Smack. I knew it was a real thing. I mean, obviously, it's a complete kayfabe book. But I didn't think it was like, I thought it might have been a joke book or it might have been short. Like, it's a legit book. Like, there's a lot of pages in here. I finished it, I think, between like 2 days. I read it like, maybe like 2 or 3 days, actually. If you read it from start to finish, it might take you about like 4 or 5 hours, depending on what your reading level is. But it's not even really a book. Like, I'll open it for you, but it's got this great cover. One of my coworkers commented on it and said it was pretty cool, and I agree. Like, the way they open it, like, it is top secret. Like, you have to unwrap it and shit like that. But essentially, even before I open it, what it is exactly what it says it is. The WWE Book of Rules. Like, we've been joking and saying for years, though, the WWE has no, like, legit rules. They just kind of go by whatever's convenient for them, which is still true. This is still kind of a joke book. But at least there is something to kind of go by. Like, every 30 days, if you don't defend your championship, you get it stripped, which is still not true today, but anyway, the WWE only really goes by what's convenient for them because it's not a real sport. It's sports entertainment. But you'll get stuff like this where it looks like a note from WWE from like the officials, and then you'll have like a wrestler's write on it. It's not actually them, but it's going to look like their handwriting and stuff like that. It's funny, like, it's very entertaining. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek, too. They make jokes about why, like, how bad the Punjabi prison match is and all the rules being so confusing, which is why they never brought it back. Which is funny, because I literally read that part of the book, like, 2 days after Battleground this year, when they did bring back Punjabi prison, which is hilarious. They joke about Vince McMahon and what he does and does not like. He doesn't like when people sneeze and shit, which is so true, actually, which is actually very accurate according to former employees. So, there is some tongue-in-cheek stuff that is actually true about the inside workings of WWE. But by and large, it is a fun, lighthearted book, which is why I do recommend it. It's not like a must-read, like it's super serious. It's not anything that WWE has actually done. It is completely tongue-in-cheek. It's totally in kayfabe, which is why I love it, because you don't see that type of shit anymore. Everything is breaking down the fourth wall, which is great. But since you see that so often now, it's actually kind of appreciated when stuff is kept in kayfabe, which is why this book is such a gem. It says in the back it's about $16 in the United States, $23 in Canada. Sorry, Canada. But that's just the way that it is, apparently. But, yeah, so it's not too much money. Most books, like these days, hardcovers, like $25. I bought the Jericho book when I had him sign it and met him a few weeks ago, which I talked about last week in the random video blog, by the way, if you want to check that out. I'm almost done with that book, so that review should be up at some point. I talked about it 2 weeks ago, excuse me. No, I talked about it today. Or, no, last week. Whatever. I don't know. I'm getting my dates mixed up here, but that review should be up. I don't know about here on the channel. I might do a written review of it. Someone actually sent me a free copy in addition when I got signed by Jericho, so I have 2 now. So that should be up on my website, actually, at some point soon. But the next book review I'll do is probably the Daniel Bryan book review that came out a few years ago. The Daniel Bryan book, which is really, really good, just called Yes. So I really enjoyed that book quite a bit. I started reading it about a year ago, stopped reading it, then got back into it this summer. Thoroughly enjoyed it, so I'll start reviewing that at some point in the next week or, next few weeks, next month or so. But anyway, back to the bottom line here. WWE Book of Rules, pretty good book. Definitely check it out when you get a chance. Again, totally tongue-in-cheek, totally kayfabe. complete kayfabe, but that's why I like it. I thought it was pretty good. It's a quick read. You get it done in a few hours, I would say, a little less than a day. But yeah, there's like, I'll read a quick page to you before we wrap up here, just to show you what I'm talking about. I know I showed you a page, but let's see here. And it's also separated in like into certain sections too, like attire, how you should, address yourself or present yourself and whatever. Like there's even pages that are like even ripped out to show that it was actually passed around, that it's made the rounds over the past like 3-4 decades, which is actually kind of cool when you think about it. So there's stuff like that. Let's see, like there was an edict here from World Wrestling Entertainment, from Stanford, from Talent Relations. It says, attention superstars. On the following pages of this packet, you will find a running list of offenses that could lead to hearing Mr. McMahon yell, "You're fired." Many of the actions listed here may seem unusually specific, but that is because they have already been committed by former superstars and staff, it says written in here. Please be advised that what you are about to read may be lewd, offensive, disturbing, explicit. We hope you will learn from history and not repeat these mistakes. Best, Talent Relations. And there's like a little mini sticky note on the inside saying, just give Stephanie whatever she wants. It'll be easier on everyone. So, again, some funny stuff. It's pretty entertaining. It goes across the entire WWE board from like the 80s, from George the Animal Steel to the brand extension. It's thoroughly updated too, because it only came out earlier this year, late last year. So it's pretty up to date with what it talks about. But that is the WWE Book of Rules. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Like I said, stay tuned for the Daniel Bryan book review coming up here to the Random Video blog fairly soon. In the meantime, in the between time, be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. That being said, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.